Welcome to the first official episode of Girl of Steel Musings. And again, this is Opal, bringing you all things Supergirl related. Before I get into the topic at hand, I wanted to discuss the I Don't Mind campaign. If you already know about it, I'll put the timestamp somewhere in the description so you can skip forward. So the campaign was started by Chris Wood, who plays Mon-El on the show, and it's in partnership with the National Alliance on Mental Illness, also known as NAMI. They are one of the largest grassroots organizations in the United States with initiatives to bring awareness to mental illness. So they have crisis hotlines, educational campaigns, and other resources to get those who are struggling the help they need. The I Don't Mind campaign focuses on mitigating the stigma associated with speaking about mental health openly by creating a common phrase, I don't mind. After he lost his own father to untreated mental illness, Chris was largely inspired to lend his voice to the cause by saying, I don't mind. If you'd like to learn more, please go to IDONTMIND.com. They're doing a t-shirt campaign at the moment that will run till October 14th, and 100% of the proceeds will go to NAMI. I'll leave a link in the description so you can access it easily. Now, onto the episode. I wanted to start off this podcast series by doing a little review of the last 2 seasons, and what Season 3 can learn from these past seasons. So let's start off with Season 1. One of the best aspects of Season 1 was the focus of character relationships. By character relationships, I don't mean romantic relationships, because I don't feel that Season 1 handled them well at all. What I mean by character relationships is the platonic and familial camaraderie between the cast of characters, whether that be the Danvers sisters, or Super Friends, or Alex and Hank working together at the DEO. Whenever these group of characters got together, you really felt like they were an organic unit of friends or family. For example, one of my favorite moments in Season 1 is in Episode 13, The Girl Who Is Everything. When Kara's been infected by Black Mercy, Alex, Wynn, James, and Jean frantically try to search for answers to free her. You can see how much they need Kara, but also how much Kara needs each of them in her life. These quiet moments of group development were largely missing in Season 2. Hopefully, with Kara at her lowest at the moment, the team will come together in Season 3 more cohesively to support her. The use of the Rogues Gallery was a mixed bag. Season 1 brought some iconic villainous characters to the table, namely Red Tornado, who is a hero later on, Silver Banshee, and Indigo. But they were often too rushed or treated as throwaway villain of the week rogues. I'd love to see the writers use the Super's Rogue Gallery more proficiently this season, and with characters like Morgan Edge, Sai, and Rain coming to the table, I'd say they're off to a pretty good start. One of the other really good aspects of Season 1 were the varied antagonists. An antagonist doesn't need to be an outright supervillain. It can simply be someone that has challenged our hero. Supergirl Season 1 had 2 great ones in the form of Maxwell Lord and Astra. While presented in shades of villainy, there were times where we as an audience understood their motivations and wondered, can they be turned to the side of good? I feel like this approach should be applied to Lena in Season 3, but in reverse, as we know that eventually she will become Kara's arch-nemesis. I feel like the show has made her too good, so why not start her regression arc by having her conflict with Kara? Start off in a place where they disagree on an ethical problem. For example, in episode 19 of the first season, called Myriad, Maxwell explains that he can deal with the threat by defusing a kryptonite bomb that will release kryptonite dust into the air. Although there will be casualties, Kara considers whether the safety of the entire planet can be justified by the loss of a few million lives. Ethical conflicts like that forces development for our hero, and the choice that Kara made defined her as the character she'd be in later episodes. Let's move on to Season 2. One of the things I absolutely loved in Season 2 were the individualized character arcs. In Season 1, Kara's character arc was often the one that received the most development, which of course is a given since she's the lead character. This left the other characters to take a back seat, only receiving scant development in a few episodes here and there. Season 2 had more developed arcs, especially for Alex, Jean, James, Mon-El, and Win. Alex's coming out story was beautiful and poignant and served to strengthen the bond between the two sisters, while Mon-El's arc masterfully showed the story of someone going from a place of absolute selfishness to absolute selflessness. And Kara inspired that change in him by believing that he could be better and giving him the encouragement to do so. This is where James, Win, and Jean's arcs fell a bit flat for me. They deviated too much from the main plot and ended up having a minimal effect on the overall plot of the season. Season 3 needs to find a balance, give side characters arcs that push their character forward while still connecting it back to the main plot. Season 2 also had better action set pieces. With Supergirl's move to the CW, we were greeted with crisper action sequences and improved CGI. The interplay of strong action supported with good writing was a hallmark of the season. This can be seen in episodes like Season 2, Episode 6, Changing, when Kara attempts to reason with Parasite, and Season 2, Episode 15, Exodus, where Kara struggles to stop the ship and Alex encourages her to do so. In both these instances, the action isn't a spectacle. It supports the writing and changes the protagonist after it happens. However, there are some bad examples in Season 2 of action being just used for spectacle rather than to further the plot. For example, in the finale, when Rhea is revealed to have kryptonite in her, it serves as a throwaway twist, and it's supposed to make her seem more menacing and difficult to defeat. Yet when Kara defeats her, we find out she never meant to honor the Dakamor in the first place. This sequence therefore was really of no use besides to give us a face-off between our hero and our villain. Season 3 should give us these amazing action sequences, but remember that they should fit into the plot and not just be about the spectacle of it. Consistency is a big problem. Consistency in tone, consistency with character motivations, and consistency with plot are 3 areas Supergirl has always struggled with. The show deviated several times with tone, and while that's okay, hard shifts like that between scenes can be very jarring. Keeping the tone consistent in Season 3 is especially important. After a series of losses, Kara has finally started to unravel. She's blunt, angry, and tired of constantly having to make sacrifices. Yet, she also knows that the sacrifice she made saved the planet. The darker tone again serves to amplify that struggle and flesh out the type of hero Kara will be later in life. While some would argue that Kara is having too much of an overreaction to losing Mon-El, it's the last of a series of catastrophic losses, such as losing her planet, watching her aunt perish, and then almost dying herself. The last domino to fall in a long string of dominoes. A darker show for a more adult Kara makes absolute sense. Consistency with character motivations has always been a weak point of the show for me, especially with its villains. Let's be honest here, Supergirl has a villain problem. Non went from wanting to control humans to wanting the planet to be desecrated at the flip of a switch, while Rhea sought to invade the entire planet and settle it as New Daxam when she initially wanted her son to leave with her. Even Astra, who by far was one of the better written villain characters, seemed very confusing with her motivations. Season 3 can't afford to make these mistakes again with Rain. We need to believe that Sam Arias, a working-class single mom, can go from that to a world killer. Besides being a genetic experiment gone wrong, give us a believable villain arc, so we can both sympathize with her and understand her motivations. Then, when she turns, keep them consistent. If she's conflicted about her evil intentions, explain why. That's the part that's missing with the other villains. Consistency with plot, too, was a major downfall of Season 2. And we need to talk about the elephant in the room, and that's this Jeremiah and Cadmus storyline. Cadmus was set up to be a menacing presence in the tail end of Season 1 and throughout the first half of Season 2. Yet we still don't know much about them, do we? Where's Jeremiah? Why did he betray our heroes? What is the state of Cadmus in the finale even? See, these questions wouldn't bother me so much if Cadmus still had a presence on Supergirl, but it seems they were written off or forgotten. The writers need to maintain a level of commitment to the plot they started the season out with. For example, if they intend to make Rain evil, they need to commit to that, not just change their mind halfway through. Minor changes are sometimes necessary, but making large sweeping changes to one of your plot points when you've already set them up as a big bad over 2 seasons, that makes no sense. So that's all I had to say about the last 2 seasons. And I have to say, I'm super excited about season 3. From the content we've seen so far, it seems it's going to start off very strong. I just hope that the writing team has examined what they've done well and what they missed along the way to give us the wow season Supergirl deserves. Anyways, thank you for listening to me, guys. I'll have the episode 1 review and breakdown up tomorrow, so keep your eyes peeled on that.